Hello friends, and welcome to part 2 of the flower rug. In this portion we will do the flower, which is done with a technique called tapestry crochet, where you will carry your colors through your stitching. It's a very simple process, and I will show you row by row on video and some on slides, so that you can complete this portion. There is 19 rows to this portion, so let's get started. Hello. In this video, I'll be showing you how to start row 1 of our flower burst blanket rug. To start off with, we'll need a yarn tapestry needle, the size G hook. Now, for this video tutorial, I'm going to show you mostly using the yarn, but I also have my fun fur here, and I will remind you which is the front and which is the back. But for the row 1, I'm going to use the yarn. It will be exactly the same as with the fun fur. So let's get started. On your yarn, go ahead and make a slip knot. Place it onto your hook. And pick up 2 stitches, yarn over the hook and through the loop that was on the hook, and snug it up a little bit. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to make 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Make your loop a little large. We're going to go ahead and thread the green yarn onto our hook. This will be my secondary color. If you're using a different color, kind of refer to the colors that I'm using. My flower is a variegated, and my secondary color will be green. I know before I said it would be easier to label it as flower and leaf, I guess, but in this case using the variegated and the green would probably be best. So to our circle, go ahead and flip it over, and with the tapestry needle go through the bottom loops of the double crochets and through the centers as so. Here's the front view, and here's the back. Go ahead and pull it through, and then take the needle off. Make it so that you have a 4 to 6 inch tail on the back we'll be weaving that in later. Flip it back over and back onto the hook. This will start the tapestry crochet. For our next stitch, we're going to be doing a double crochet, but we're also going to be changing colors. So to make it so that the green will not show a lot, take the green and bring it to the back, but not below the stitching. Just bring it to the back. When the hook picks up the yarn from behind, it'll help keep it in the back. So yarn over on your hook, pick up your next stitch, which is the 2 loops on the top. Also, the green will be on top as well. Draw up a loop. Notice we have the 3 loops on the hook through 2. Okay, now I'm going to take my flower color and bring it forward, and I'm going to pick up my green and finish off the last 2 stitches of that double crochet. But before I move on, I want to snug up this stitch right here so that it doesn't become loose, too loose, and look unbalanced when the stitching is complete. So now we're going to make another double crochet. So yarn over, we're going to go to the next set of stitches. Notice that I am carrying my flower color as well. So I pick up, got my 3 loops on the hook, pick up the 2. Since we're only using 1 stitch of the green, we need to change back to our flower color, and then the flower will pick up the last 2. Now you notice how this stitch right here in the green is still a little loose. This is the reason why I encourage you to pull it down just a little bit to tighten it. Okay, so and then hold it down with your thumb and then tighten this stitch. Now at first it's going to seem so cumbersome, it's going to seem like, oh my gosh, what did I get myself into? But it's really, once you get the hang of it, it's not going to be that bad. So yarn over through the next stitch and just do a regular double crochet. Now look at what you've done. I have the chain 3, 4 double crochets, the 1 green, and we're going to start now on our next set of double crochets. Okay, so here's number 2. Notice how I have my green back here, and it is being carried, so that's what tapestry crochet is that you're going to be carrying the yarn with the stitch. So here's 2 double crochets, here's 3 double crochets, and you do not want to pull this tight. You want to keep it loose as you're bringing it around. Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4 double crochets, 5, 6, 7. Now on our 8th double crochet, this is where we will do our color change again. So yarn over through the 2 loops, pick it up through the first 2, pick up the green and pull it through. Remember to snug this up just a little bit, and then we'll do 1 green. Pull it to the front and then pick up with the flower color. And then we're going to repeat this again. So we want 8 double crochets, but on the 8th double crochet is where we will do our color changes. So 7 regular double crochets, and then on the 8th do our color change. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, now here's the color change one. So go through 2, bring your yarn forward, pick up your green, okay, and then tighten that flower color just a little bit, and then do 1 double crochet in your next stitch, pick up the 2, and then through here. So far we have 1, 2, 3. Okay, so keep doing that around, and I will meet you back in this area. Here we are at the ends of the first row. I have done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's do number 7. Number 8 will be my color change. Okay, 1 green. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and at the end of the row, join at the top of the chain. With a slip stitch, and then chain 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, so here we should have 8 green. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 green with 8 double crochets in the middle, and that is for row 1 of the flower. I will show you now how to do row 1 for the fun fur. Alrighty, let's start row 1 on our fun fur. Now you already saw how to do row 1 with the yarn. The fun fur is a little bit more complicated, but I think you can do it. I'm using my GoPro camera, so I'm hoping that this gives better photos of what we're going to be doing as compared to my cell phone, which when I watch it on the phone it's nice and clear, but it's not nice and clear when I post it on Facebook. And I'm sorry about that. So let's go back to when we did our fun fur video. I showed you that one side, usually the back, is more fluffier and more yarny with the fake fur than the front. Okay, you'll notice that in the front you'll see not as much. You can see the stitching pretty easily. Well, that's all nice, fine, and dandy, but we want the fluffy side, okay? And as we start to crochet this, I want you to bring your fur down. remember, when you make a mistake with fun fur, it's really hard to correct. So we want to try and be as careful as we can. Me too, while looking through a camera lens. And go ahead and make this first row as carefully as possible. So I have this is actually the back side of my centerpiece, this variegated blue that I have here with some black and light blue. I think it's kind of cool. And my end of the row for my 72 stitches, and then I've already taken my tail and brought it to the front of my centerpiece, which in turn we need to flip it over and actually use the back side. Okay, so let's go ahead and make a slip knot on our hook, and I will be using the fun fur for my blanket. The yarn one that I showed was to show you how to start the row 1. So take the fur and brush it down, front and back sides, and let's see if we can find our first stitch. Like for me, I was saying it's really hard looking through a camera lens. Here, I got one right here. Okay, now we're going to do the exact same thing. Try to keep as much of that fur down as possible. It's not going to come apart, believe me. Okay, and then we're going to do like a slip knot and tighten it up. Now we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then we're going to do the 3 double crochet like we did before. So here's 1. Notice I'm keeping all that fur separated, and I have my light right next to me. I want to make sure I get it into the stitches. Here's 2, and then we're going to do number 3, and then we're going to load up for the green yarn. Okay, can you see how that looks already? You know, once you get the fur going, you ain't even going to hardly see the stitching. But when we put it together, we want it to be nice. You can see, can you see the stitching there? So you make sure you use your light on this. Okay, so let's pull up a loop. We're going to make it so that we flip it to the back here, and go ahead and thread up our yarn needle. Okay, in this case I'm going to be going from left to right, so if it looks upside down to you, it is. And so remember, whatever I'm putting in right now, it is not going to come back out. So what I get is what I get. Okay, and let's go ahead and pull this through. I got me a nice long tail for weaving in purposes later. Okay, the green will go to the back. Let's tighten up our flower again. And I'm going to take these additional tails and put them in the back as well. Okay, so my next stitch will be my color change stitch. So we're going to wrap it around, make sure you got your fur down, and you're going to go pick up those 2 stitches. Make sure your green is sitting on top of your stitches, and pull it up, go through 2, bring your flower color forward, and then pick up your green and pull it through. Remember to tighten this just a little bit. And then we're going to do 1 double crochet with the green. Okay. There we go. So the process that we did on the regular is the same as what we're going to do right now. Just the fur is in the way. Okay. So now we're going to do 1 double crochet. Okay, I wanted to show you. Can you see how you can see my stitches through there? All right. Take your time with this. Don't be frustrated. It's a craft, it's not an assignment. And when you put forth your love, your passion, your efforts into all this, you want the outcome to be just as beautiful as the feelings that you have when putting it together. So let's do another stitch. Here's another double crochet. So that's 2. Let's go for number 3. Okay, now I don't want to bore you, but you get the principle about using the fun fur. So go ahead and do it all the way around. Have your 72 stitches. You'll have the green color change 8 times. When we come back here, we will do the 3 stitches because the chain 3 does count as 1 double crochet. So you will do 3 double crochets, slip stitch here, and chain 3, and then we'll start on row 2. And I will meet you there. Hello and welcome to row 9. In this row we will be introducing our third color. Mine will be beige, and we'll be crocheting it along with the other color as part of the tapestry crochet. This will mean that you will crochet over the two strands of yarn. So to begin row 9, we've already did our slip stitch and our chain 3 and we're going to go ahead and take and make a little tail, and we're going to bring it up right behind our work, and in this case we're carrying the green or your second color. So bring the two together and let's make our first double crochet in the first stitch. And see how we just go over both of them? And there's one double crochet. Let's do our second one. The third one. The fourth one. And on the fifth one, we're going to bring up the beige. So let's do our beginning. We're halfway. Bring your yarn forward and bring up. This is what will be our main color. So in my case it's the beige. And pull it through. Remember to bring your snug it down loop. And then we're going to do one double crochet. Okay, and then bring your loop forward again, and this time we're going to be picking up the green or your second color. And it's going to take a little while to work the colors around. In the first stitch we're going to do 2 green. So here's 1. And here's 2. So this is what we'll have so far. And then we're going to do 9 of the green for double crochet. You'll notice that the green leaf is going to start getting bigger now. Notice how I take both of them and kind of pull them towards the back a little bit, so that way when you make your stitch, that you're less likely to see it in the front. Let's see, how many do I have here? I got 2 and 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So we have the 2 green in the first stitch, 9 across, and then we're going to do 2 in the last stitch, and on the second stitch we're going to change our color. Okay, so we're going to change it to the main color, which in my case is the beige, or our new color that we just brought in. And remember to snug it up. 1 of the main color, and then we're switching back to our flower color. And then snug that up again, and let's do 1 double crochet. Can you see how it's starting to show the background color now? And your flower petals are starting to thin out. So we're going to do 10 of the flower color. Now row 9 will be a little bit long because I wanted to show you how to work these colors in, but my goal was to show you just the one without having to go through everything, but I wanted to show you. Now notice how all this twisting here has come about in my yarn. After you finish your row, be sure to untwist so that it doesn't get really tangled up mess later on. Let's see, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And of course on the 10th one, since we have the 1 color left, that'll be for your main color. We want to change our color out and then snug it up, and this is where the repeat will begin. So we'll do 1 main color, or in my case the beige, 2 in the next stitch, 9 in the green, and in the last green 2, then 1 main color and 10 of the flower. Repeat that all the way around, and when you get here towards the end, you'll do the 1 of the main color and 1, 2, 3, 4 of the flower color, slip stitch and chain 3, and I'll meet you for row 10 there. Here we go, on to row number 10. You'll notice that we have the 1 from row 1, and when we've completed row 9, we had 1, 2, 3, 4 double crochets, then we slip stitch and chain 3. The one thing I wanted to show you before we moved on was with our beige, or our main color, you want to weave it in. So with your yarn tapestry needle, go ahead and put it onto your needle and go through the back stitches of your double crochet and then pull it through. And if you want to really make sure it stays in there, skip the first couple of stitches and then go through the same stitches you went through again. And this is how we weave it in. And it'll stay right there. Okay? And go ahead and get the scissors and cut. Say goodbye to our tail. Bye, bye, bye. Alrighty, let's go ahead and start crocheting. So, to begin this row, you notice that our flower is now becoming smaller and our green is going to become a little bit bigger. So, bring up your two colors, which would be your main color and your green, or I should say your second color, and we're going to do 4 double crochets. And there's 1, 2, 3, and on your 4th one, change your color. And you notice that we have 1 double crochet left from the row 9. So bring your flower color forward, and we're going to pick up the main color again. And snug it up again. Now this row we're going to do single double crochets the whole way around, so you won't do any 2 stitches in one spot. Everything's going to be a single double crochet for every stitch. So we're going to do 3 double crochets. 1. Your second one should be in the main color that you have chosen from row 9, and then the third one. On the third one, we change our color, and we're going to change it to the green. And then we're going to do 11 in green, 11 double crochets. Before I get to talking too much more about what we're doing, I hope that you untwisted, or I should say detangled, your yarns from row 9. I know it took me a few minutes to unravel them, untwist them, because you want it to be smooth as you go around. You don't want to pull and tug and have it accidentally pull and tug, you know, the stitch in between here. I mean the yarns that you're carrying in your stitching. It'll make it so it won't lay flat. It'll cause it to pucker or buckle or whatever. So as we get closer to the end, another reminder, always count. You finish your green, count your green, or count it as you go along. Make sure that you have your numbers correct. No fun in frogging, believe me. This one should be number 11, so I'm going to stop it halfway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So we're going to change it. Oh, bring your green forward. We're going to change it to the main color, which mine is beige. And 3 of the beige. Even though I untangled my yarn, it's still getting tangled up. Oh, some of the funs that we have in creating beautiful things with our crochet. Okay, here's our third one. And then we're going to pick up the flower color. And for the flower, we're going to do 8 double crochets, and then we're going to do our repeat. So let me get started on the first one here. I don't want to bore you with everything. So you can see here how we have our 3 of our main color starting to take shape as we move forward up. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4 in the beginning. So this is our repeat, the 3, 11, 3, and then the 8 on the flower. And as you go all the way around, you'll have, this one will be your last main color, and you'll do 3 double crochets, slip stitch, and chain 3, and then I'll meet you for row 11. I hope my instructions have been clear for you, that you don't have any problems with this. Tapestry crochet is really a fun way to change colors. If you wanted to, you can even use a single crochet or a half double crochet in a future project using tapestry crochet and make your own tote bag or something. Those are called mochillas. So for this project right here, we're on row 10. We added 3, did 11, 3, do 8, continue around, and I'll meet you on the next row, which should be row 11. Hello, here we are at row 11, and I'm not really going to show you what to do because row 11 is exactly the same as row 10. So basically what you're going to do, you got your chain 3 coming up, you want to do your 4 double crochets from your flower, you'll do your 3 of your main color, mine is beige, and then you'll do your 11 green, 3 of the main color, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of the flower, and that'll start your repeat again. So I'm not going to show you this row 11. On row 12 you'll see mine already completed, and then we'll start from there. Row 12. But first, let's review. We have 2 rows that look exactly the same. This is correct. Remember, row 11 was exactly the same as row 10. So now we're going to be adding more of our base, which is the beige on mine, too, and our flower is going to start depleting more, and so are our leaves. Let's get started. So first thing we're going to do, make sure you carry up your colors. Oops, sorry, I stuck too much of my arm in the picture. We're going to do 3 double crochet, and on the 3rd double crochet we're going to change our colors to the base color. Then we're going to do 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, and in the next stitch we're going to do 2 double crochets. So here's 1 and 2. This will be our increase for this row. And then we'll do 1 double crochet in the next stitch, and in the next, which will be the first green, will be where we change our color to green. And then here we will do 9 green, or our second color. Oops, hang on, I made a mistake. I forgot to carry my color. Sorry about that. Yes, I do make mistakes. Okay. So here's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and on the 9th green we're going to change our color back to the main, or the base color, which is my beige. Remember to snug up on the stitch there. Okay, so we're going to do 2 single double crochets. Oops, I need to pull some more yarn out. Okay, so we got 1, be like the same we did on the other side. So we did 2 single double crochets, and then in the 3rd one we're going to do 2 double crochets. So here's 1 and 2 in the same stitch. Then we'll do 1 double crochet, and on this next one we'll change our color to our flower color. And in our flower we will do 6 double crochets. Now what I've shown you will be your repeat, and you can go all the way around. When you get to the other end, let's see how many I got here. 4. Let me do 2 more. was my computer. Sorry about that. Okay, so on the 6th color, we want to change it to our base color. And then we'll do our repeat from our base, which would be 1, 1, and then 2 in one stitch, 1, 1. Okay? And over here, when we get to the end of the row, this one will be taken up, so you'll have 2 of the flower color for double crochet, slip stitch into the top, and chain 3, and I'll meet you for row 13. Thank you. Here we are at row 13. Remember we slip stitched, did our chain 3. Now let's do 2 double crochets with our flower color. There's 1, and on your second one you're going to change your color to the base color, which in my case is the beige. Snug up your flower color a little bit. Now we're going to be doing 8 beige or your base color. 2, 3. There'll be no increase on this row, so everything will just be straight numbers. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here's 7. And on our 8th color, we're going to change to the green. For our green, let me straighten my table out again. We're going to be doing 7 green. And there's 1. I hope everybody's coming along doing this with no problems, that you are understanding how to do this tapestry crochet. I'm finding it to be quite easy. I don't normally do tapestry crochet. I like doing the textured type stitches and whatnot. Okay, this should be number 7. Let's double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes. Okay, now we're going to change back to our base color. Yes, I even have trouble with the tangles, but it's worse because I'm so close to the camera. So please bear with me. Okay, we're going to go back to our base color where we will do 8 across those colors here, 8 double crochet. There's 3, 4, 5, 6, and on your 8th color you will change to your flower color, which in my case is this variegated pink. On our flower, we're only going to be doing 4 double crochets, noting that on the 4th double crochet you will change your color. And this is the completion of our repeat. And let me finish this right here. When you get to the end of your row, you'll see here that this will be the 8th, so you'll have 1 double crochet that will be of your flower color. Then you slip stitch to the top of your chain 3 and chain 3, and we'll be ready for row 14. Here we go, row 14. Row 14 will be the last row for our flower color. So at the end of this row, we can cut our flower yarn. So the first thing we're going to do is bring our 2 colors up and 1 double crochet, and we're going to change our color to the beige, or the base color. This will be the top of our flower. Oops, I'm sorry. I'm way too far up. Okay, so we have our 1 double crochet, and we changed our color to our base. Now we're going to do 2 double crochet in the first stitch. This will be an increase for this row. And then we're going to 8 double crochets in the next 8 stitches. Oops. And there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and the 8th stitch will be the last base from the previous row. The next stitch will be 2 stitches in the first green. After the second stitch, we're going to change our color to the green. And we're going to do 5 green. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. On our 5th, we will change our color back to our base. I notice my flower petal here is getting so big. Okay, now we're going to do a repeat of our coloring from before. 2 double crochet in the first stitch, then 8, 1, 2, 3, 4. Like I said, when you do it on film, the yarn never wants to cooperate. There's 5, 6, 7, 8. So our first color of our flower, we will get 2 double crochet. Okay, so far we have chain 3, 1, 2 double crochet, 8, 2 double crochet, 5, 2 double crochet, 8, 2 double crochet. We're going to go into the flower color. Going to do 2, 1 on the second. We do our change of color, and then the first stitch will be our repeat again with the base color. Okay, so we're going to repeat this section here all the way around, and when you get here to the end, there will be no double crochet of the flower color. This last stitch here will be the 2 of our base color. At the end, you will slip stitch with your base color at the top of the chain 3 and then stop right there. For your flower color, you're going to want to leave a tail about 4 or 6 inches long, and then go ahead and cut it, and then you'll weave it in on the back so it doesn't come out. Okay? And as a review, on the next video for the next row, on row 15, I'll show you how to finish this right here. Hi, I'm at the end of row 14, so I'd like to show you how we're going to finish this. Notice I am still carrying my pink, even though we will not be using it to make any more stitches. The reason why I'm carrying it is to maintain the color and the thickness all the way around, so might as well finish it there. So got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now of our base, we still have 2 more to do. We have the 1 stitch left, so we're going to add the 2 stitches to that, the 2 double crochets, and we're not going to do any color change here, so we're just going to do a complete double crochet. And then to finish this, we're going to go to the top of the chain 3 and do a slip stitch like we've been doing all along. And that completes the crochet part. So for the rest, I'm going to take my flower color right here. I'm going to cut and remove the rest of the yarn from it. And I'm going to separate it from the rest of these colors here and get my yarn needle and then I'm going to go backwards, skipping over the first stitch here. I'm going to go backwards and stay in the middle of the double crochets. Okay, and pull it so that it's just snug there, and then go over the first one again and through it, and this will lock that stitch in. You notice on front we can't see it, and then cut it close, and that completes the flower stitch. From now on we'll be using the two colors until the green runs out, which will probably be in 1 or 2 rows, and then we'll have nothing but the beige. So this is to finish row 14. Hello, let's begin row 15. In row 15, we've already slip stitched into the top of the chain 3, and now we chain 3. Bring up your green, and in the first double crochet, we're going to be doing 2 double crochets in the same spot. Remember to carry your green across as we go. Next we're going to do 12 double crochets, that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We're going to do 2 double crochets in the next stitch, or the first green. On the second double crochet, we change our color. With our green, we're going to do 3 double crochet, 2, and on the third double crochet, we're going to change our color. To continue on, we'll be doing 2 double crochet in the first stitch, now because of the odd number, the designer made it so that this side of the green will be 12, but this side coming up to the flower will be 13. So we're going to be doing 13 double crochets up to the flower. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Now, this is where our repeat is. Think of this last stitch right here in the very first of the flower as your chain 3, and then you'll always know if you're on the right track. The very last double crochet for the flower will get 2 double crochets. Now we do not change our color. We keep right on going. So what you're going to be doing is, you did the 2, so now do 12, and then 2 double crochets onto the first green. You'll do 3 greens, then 2 in the last green, 13, and then 2 in the last, and that'll be your repeat around. When you finish, you'll slip stitch into the top of the chain 3 and then chain 3, and I'll meet you for row 16. Hi, at the end of row 15, I did not make a note of this in the row 15 video, so I wanted to point out that after you do the 2 after the green, you want to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. The chain 3 would count as 13. Then we're going to slip stitch into the top of the chain 3, and chain 3. Now we're ready for row 16. Row 16. Row 16 is going to be mostly the base color or beige, and you're going to be doing 1 change with the green above the green. This will be the last row for the green. After this row, we will stay with just our base color. So to begin, we have our chain 3. In the first one, we're going to do 1. Oh, don't forget to bring up your color. Carry your color around. We're going to be doing 8 double crochet with our base color. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. After we do 8, We're still staying with our base color in the next stitch. Well, this is our increase. We're going to do 2 double crochets in the same stitch. After this, we're going to do 8 double crochets again. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and our 8th color we're going to change to green. And do 1 double crochet, which means we're going to change back to our base color. And you can see we have a nice little point here for our flower. Our petal here. And then we're going to do 9 double crochets. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. My flower is getting so heavy it's starting to pull off the table here. Then we're going to do another increase. Make sure you carry in your green still. We're going to do 2 double crochet in the next stitch. And now we're going to do 14, which is going to carry us across the top of our flower petal. So 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. To the 14, we're going to do another increase, 2 double crochet in the same stitch. And notice how this is like the same area coming up here on this. And 8 double crochets. Take us up to the green. One, two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Remember, this is our changing green, our changing double crochet. So we'll change it to green. We'll do the 1 double crochet, change it to beige. Okay, so our repeat around will be the same from here. We have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 double crochets after the leaf, the 2 together, then we have 14, the 2, and then we have 8. And as you go all the way around, you're going to come up, after you do the last one here, you're going to go ahead and do the 9 double crochet, 2, and then you'll have 5. You'll slip stitch into the top of this and then chain 3. At the end of this row, you're going to go ahead and do like we did for the flower. Make sure you carry your green all the way to the end to kind of keep it balanced. You don't want to have open gaps and no color and stuff. So you carry your green to the end. After you do your slip stitch, enlarge your loop, and then cut the green with the tail and then weave it in the back here. And then I'll meet you for row 17. Row 17. Row 17 will be only our base color, and this round we will do 16 increases. After our chain 3, we're going to do a double crochet in the same space that we did our slip stitch. Now going across, we're going to do 18 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If I could edit this thing, I would make it so you wouldn't have to watch me count. So I'm not a pro at editing, so please bear with me. Let's do 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Now, before we move on, I want to point out, do you remember a few rows back where one side was one number and on the other side of the green was another number? Well, that same is going to happen here. When you're going from your flower petal to the green, you'll do 18. 18 double crochets. So the next stitch that we're going to do is the 2 double crochets at the top of the green. Okay, I'm going to point out something else to you. You notice that the top of our flower got the double crochet. That's where our increases are going to be this round, at the top of the flowers. So on this side of the green, coming up to this area above the flower, is going to be 17 double crochets. So 17, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. Our next stitch will be the 2 double crochets in the same stitch. So this will be our repeat. We're going from the flower top across the green to the other flower top. That will be our repeat. So 18 across, 2 double crochets on the top flower, 17 across, and then 2 double crochets. When you get to the end of the row, you already have the double crochet and the double crochet in the single crochet space, in the slip stitch space, is considered the double. So you'll do the 17 here, slip stitch to the top of the chain 3, and then chain 3, and I'll meet you for row 18. Hi, this is an addition to row 17. At the beginning, I suggested that you do 18, the 2 double crochets, and 17. And then the 2 double crochets, and then moving on. Well, I have found that according to the way that the pattern was written, this right here in the first 18, I automatically assumed that the next over on the other top of the flower would be 18 as well. It's not. It's 17. 17 double crochet, 17 double 2, 17, 2, 17, all the way around. Now when you get to the end of the row here, luckily it all works itself out. So when you do your 2 double crochet here, you'll only have 16. That would make it 17 and 17. Oh, to me that's a designer error, but it does work out the way it's supposed to, and it's really not noticeable because it is there is quite a distance between the increase. So this is my note for row 17, and I will put a note at the beginning of row 17 of what I've already recorded. Sorry for the error. I try to do these rows as I go along, and sometimes we find errors along the way, and this is one that I did find along the way. So thank you. Hello, here we are at row 18. Now before we move on, I would like for you to count all your stitches from row 17. Include the chain 3 as a stitch. You should have 304 double crochets around. Once you have made sure of this, we are going to increase on this row just 3 stitches, which means we're going to place a 2 double crochet in 1 stitch 3 different times around. So what I am thinking is, after you do your beginning, come over about 10 or 12 stitches, add a double, that would be number 1. Now if you cut across, kind of like as a triangle, say like to over here, add another one. It doesn't have to be the exact amount, just add another one. So that would be number 2. And then if you kind of come over to this direction over here, this will be number 3 over here in this area somewhere. So kind of like visualize a triangle. So that would be 1, 2, and 3. After you finish this row, including the chain 3, we should have 308 stitches, and this will complete the flower section, and then we will move on to the first border. Then I'll see you for row 19. So far, I have gotten around, we're doing 1 double crochet, and then where did I put it? Up here. Where did I put my 2 double crochet? Oh, here it is, right here. Okay, and what I should have said, I put a marker, a stitch marker, so that I know where to put my second one, and then as I work my way around, I put another one in there. So that'll help you to know where to add your 3 extra stitches at. but everything else is just one double crochet around. Also, the inner border is going to be known as inner border number 1, not row 19. So I'll see you there in a few minutes. Hello. Here I am at the end of row 18, and I wanted to show you how big mine is. It measures about 23.5 all the way across. I'm thinking, because you can see how it still ripples a little bit, I'm thinking about adding another just straight to make it just a little bit wider before we start our border. I'm going to go ahead and add one more row to this so that I can have where all this rippling that is happening, I'm sure yours is doing the same thing, to kind of smooth out some. So that's my suggestion. That will become row 19, and my suggestion is add just one row all the way around. When you stop with the slip stitch and chain 3, and we'll make a decision for the next row. Might be a row 20, might start the border. Hi, here I am showing you what row 19 has done. It has taken quite a bit of the wrinkle out of the edge here, and I think adding that extra row will help. So for row 19, go ahead and do 1 double crochet per stitch all the way around, close with your slip stitch and chain 3, and then we'll start row 1 of the inner border.